On Monday, 3 van load of British officers raided a woman's home. Now, they arrested her and confiscated so many items from her house. They took wigs, ID cards, and some other items. In this video, I'm going to be unpacking what actually led to her arrest. This is one of the cases that the Home Office describes as the most prolific cases of its kind. You would see some shocking details in this video, so just sit back, relax, and let me give you the full gist of what actually happened on Monday. You need to know what is happening in the UK. If you are meeting me for the first time, my name is Cynthia. I share information that will help your transition abroad to be as smooth as possible. I share information about settling, working, or studying in the UK. If you're interested in any of these, then subscribe to this channel. Turn on your notification bell so that each time I drop a new video, you'll be amongst the first people to know what is happening in the UK. And without wasting time, let's get into this news. For legal reasons, this woman was not named, but they said she's 61 years old. A 61-year-old woman actually disguised herself and wrote life in the UK test for, they said, at least 14 people. You can imagine writing life in the UK test. Now, what do you know about life in the UK test? Life in the UK test is a test that you write if you want to apply for indefinite leave to remain or British citizenship. It is £50. Yes, £50. And it consists of 24 questions, and you should pass at least 18 of them and above. Then you'll be able to get that life in the UK test. This is something that this 61-year-old decided to write for other people, impersonating other people. This is a crime, and since she has been caught, I don't know what is going to happen to her. Now, this woman actually dresses up on those wigs, and let me show you what these wigs look like. You can imagine what it looks like. And then she impersonates both male and female. You can imagine both male and female. I wonder how she disguises herself to be able to impersonate male. It's just shocking to see a 61-year-old almost reaching retirement doing such a thing. And they said she's a bus driver. That's what the Daily Mail describes her as, that she's a bus driver and she's doing something like this. Investigators have accused her of completing this test across various immigration centers. You know, there are up to 30 immigration centers that you have to register and book a session, then you sit down and write. Please, I want to ask those people who have written life in the UK test, is it that difficult that someone would consider paying someone out there to write it for them, with the potential that you'll be caught? Seriously, as she has been caught now, the 14 people who she has written this test for will actually be withdrawn. Is it so difficult that someone would be willing to pay someone out there? I don't know how much they are paying her to sit down, impersonate you, and then write this life in the UK test. And knowing that one day if you are caught, you know what happens now. They will cancel that indefinite leave to remain. And maybe if you have been sworn in as a British citizen, it means that it was fraudulently achieved. And so they will just take it out. Please, I want to ask those people who have written life in the UK test, is it so difficult? How many times did you sit down to write it? Because I know that this particular test is a test that you can sit down as many times as often to write it, and it's £50. So is it so difficult that someone would be willing to pay someone else somewhere to impersonate them, sit down, write that test? Does it make sense? It does not make sense in any way. This is the first time I'm seeing someone impersonating another person to write an exam in the UK. Yes, you should ask me. I'm a lecturer, so I know that this is just shocking. It's really shocking for someone to do this. And because she doesn't want anybody to find out that she's doing it, she wouldn't go to the same center. She did it over various immigration centers. I don't know how she went about this, and the disguise is looking somehow. The wigs. Oh my goodness, the wigs. See, they said she would laminate her photo. She doctored the photo, so it's another offense on its own for you to take your photograph and doctor someone's ID in order to, deceive the examiner and pass through the security, sit down and write that test for someone else. it's really appalling that someone would think of doing something like this. Now, if you read further in this Daily Mail article, you will see where someone said that she was ready to pay £2,000 for someone else to write the test for her. Why won't you sit down and study? Bring out time to write this particular test. Why would such a person think of paying someone else £2,000 to write a test of £50? It does not make sense in any way. Even paying someone at all to write a test for you in the UK, it does not make sense at all. And this is someone who is 61-year old and is reaching retirement. They have refused to mention the name of the person. They have not told us anything about the person's background, so nobody should make any assumptions here, because someone that is 61-year old does not make sense. The reward is nothing, as in, is nothing. The fact that you'll be caught, this is the UK. And if you read further down here, it says that investigators who were tipped off by suspicious test center staff believe she was working as part of a wider organized crime group. They say she is one of the most prolific citizenship test fraudsters they have come across. See, if you look at this very well, you can see that she is not the only one doing it. It means that people have been doing it for a while, and they said that they are accusing this woman of fraudulently completing the quizzes across multiple test centers in the UK between June 1st 2022 and August 14th 2023. So she has been doing this, and they feel she's not the only one. There are other people doing this. Like, they collect money from other people from social media. They collect money from people, and then they will impersonate the person and go and write the person's test for them. You can imagine. And then the person gets British citizenship. See, if you've gotten your British citizenship after that time, trust me, the UK will just revoke it because you got it on fraudulent basis. Guys, this is the news I have for you. I want you guys to share with me, what do you think about this particular case? It does not make sense. Is this life in the UK test so difficult? Is it that difficult? Did you struggle to get materials to read for it? Some people say they read for 4 days and they're okay. Some people say they read for a week, 2 weeks, 2 months, 3 months. If you know where you can get resources for people who would write life in the UK test, then put it in the comments so that other people read. I don't think this case is very, very difficult. I've not written it. I'm going to write mine this year. I'm going to create a video once I've written mine. I'll tell you how difficult or easy it is. Most people say it's so easy to read and pass, that it's not difficult at all. Some people say they pass it on their second attempt or third attempt. Some say it's their first attempt. In fact, sometime last year, there's a professor of law. He is Tom Brooks. He said that life in the UK test is like a bad pub quiz. That's how he described it. If you've attended any pub quiz in maybe a pub, like you go and they ask you questions about the UK and stuff like that, then you know what he means. And there have been various research conducted by University of Essex and so many other journalists. They believe that many people who were born in the UK would not be able to pass that particular test. In fact, there's one research that said they believe that half of the people in Britain cannot pass this particular life in the UK test, while some other people say it's two-thirds. But is it that difficult that someone would be afraid of it? I don't understand what is happening. Many people who have written this test said that it's easy and it's not that difficult. That as long as you just read for it, you keep reading and reading, then on the exam day you'll be able to pass it. And even if you fail it, you can rewrite it as many times as you want. So, guys, all I can say is, if you're preparing for your indefinite leave to remain, maybe this year, like me, all you have to do is try your best, read for it, and you don't need to wait until it's the time when your passport is going to expire before you book your test. You can try and write it ahead of time. Write it, pass it, and if you fail it, just go and book the test again. and try your best to pass it the second time. You'll be conversant with some of the questions they're asking there. You just try and write it the next time and score 18 over 24. And you don't need to stress at all. This particular case now is of a woman that, I don't know, she thought she was going to be Connie and she's going to choose an easier way out, and what she did was detrimental to herself and to the people who she's working with, the crime group that she's working with. She has caused a lot of harm now to all those people that she claims are her clients that she got from social media. Those people and their families, you can imagine now, your British citizenship is fake. If you have dependents that you were trying to help to stay with you through family roots, your maybe wife or husband and kids, all their papers are at risk right now. All of it at risk. Seriously, crime does not pay in any way, and everybody should just try and avoid crime. That's all I have to say about this particular news. So what do you people think about this? What do you think about these wigs? Seriously, curly wigs, straight ones, long ones, does not make sense. I don't think a wig is really like a proper disguise. I don't know. I don't know how she pulled this off, and I wonder how she pulled off that of the men she impersonated. I don't know how she pulled that off, but this is just ridiculous. It does not make sense. The fact that some people are willing to pay £2,000 for something like this does not make sense at all. It doesn't. When you can just sit down and study. What we've learned from this is that crime does not pay at all. It does not pay. Go and read and pass your test. Anyway, I make videos about settling in the UK. I have videos about those people who want to move to Canada too, if that's what you're interested in, or maybe you want to move somewhere else. That's fine. There are various opportunities right now for you to explore. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.